She isn't difficult, she's just done settling. They told her she was too picky, too difficult, too demanding. But here's what they didn't understand: she wasn't asking for too much. She was simply done accepting too little. If you've ever been called difficult for having standards, hit that like button right now. This story is for you. Sarah sat across from her friend Monica at their favorite coffee shop, stirring her latte without drinking it. Monica had just said the words Sarah had heard 1,000 times before. Maybe you're being too picky, too difficult, too much. The words echoed in Sarah's mind as she walked home that evening. At 32, she'd been single for 2 years, and according to everyone around her, that was a problem she needed to fix. Her mother forwarded her articles about lowering your expectations. Her married friends set her up on dates with men who aren't perfect, but are nice enough. Her co-workers whispered that maybe she was too focused on her career, but Sarah remembered the before. She remembered the relationship where she laughed at jokes that weren't funny, where she pretended to be interested in sports she didn't care about, where she made herself smaller, quieter, easier. She remembered the man who called her dramatic when she expressed her feelings, who said she was overthinking when she pointed out his inconsistencies, who accused her of being high maintenance when she asked for basic respect. She remembered the exhaustion of carrying a relationship on her own shoulders, the lonely feeling of being with someone who made her feel alone. And one day, something inside her shifted. It started small. Sarah stopped responding to the guy who only texted after PM. She unmatched with the man whose opening message was, "Hey beautiful, wanna come over?" Her friends were shocked, but he was attractive. They said, "Give him a chance." But Sarah had learned something powerful. Attraction isn't enough. Chemistry isn't enough. Potential isn't enough. She created a new standard for her life. She wanted someone who was consistent, not just charming. Someone who was emotionally available, not just physically present. Someone who added to her peace, not someone she had to make excuses for. Are you watching this and nodding your head? Subscribe and turn on notifications because we're sharing stories like this every week for women who refuse to settle. The dating apps became easier to navigate. Where she once swiped on everyone and hoped for the best, she now spotted the red flags immediately. The bio that said, "I don't know what I'm looking for next." The profile with only gym selfies and no actual personality next. The messages that started with compliments about her body instead of questions about her mind next. Her friends called it being difficult. Sarah called it self-respect. Then came the pushback. "You're going to end up alone." Her aunt warned at Thanksgiving dinner. "Your standards are unrealistic," said the guy she'd gone on to dates with before realizing he interrupted her every time she spoke. "Not all men are going to treat you like a queen," her cousin said, as if Sarah had asked to be treated like royalty instead of simply like a human being. But here's what Sarah understood that they didn't. Being alone wasn't the threat they thought it was. She'd already been lonely in relationships. She'd already felt invisible while sharing a bed with someone. She'd already experienced the unique pain of being misunderstood by someone who claimed to love her. Being alone was peaceful. Being alone was growth. Being alone was the space she needed to remember who she was before she started shrinking for others. The accusations didn't stop her. If anything, they confirmed she was on the right path. Because the people who called her difficult were often the people who benefited from her settling. Months passed. Sarah's life didn't look like a romantic comedy. There was no montage of perfect dates or a surprise confession of love in the rain. Instead, there was something better. There was the morning she woke up and realized she was genuinely happy. Not waiting to be happy. Not happy when I find someone. Just happy. She took herself to the restaurant she'd always wanted to try. She bought tickets to the concert she wanted to attend. She booked the solo trip she'd been dreaming about. Her coworkers stopped asking about her dating life when they saw how fulfilled she'd become. Her friends stopped setting her up when they realized she wasn't desperate to be fixed. And then something interesting happened. She met someone, not because she lowered her standards, not because she gave someone a chance who didn't deserve one, She met someone who matched her energy, who respected her boundaries, who loved that she knew what she wanted and wasn't afraid to ask for it. Someone who never once called her difficult. If this story is resonating with you, share it with another woman who needs to hear this today. We're building a community of women who choose themselves first. Here's what Sarah learned. She wasn't difficult. She was discerning. She wasn't too picky. She was selective about who got access to her energy. She wasn't demanding. She was clear about what she deserved. The right person would never make her feel like her standards were too high. The right person would be grateful she had standards because it meant she chose him intentionally, not desperately. But even more important than finding the right person was finding herself again. She found the version of herself who stopped apologizing for wanting more, who stopped shrinking to fit into spaces that weren't meant for her, who stopped explaining her worth to people determined to misunderstand it. The truth is this: the world will always try to convince women that their standards are the problem. That wanting respect is asking too much. That expecting consistency is unrealistic. That desiring emotional availability is demanding. But women like Sarah know better. They know that settling isn't a virtue. That patience doesn't mean accepting disrespect. That being single is better than being diminished. So if you're reading this and you've been called difficult, too picky, too demanding, know this: you're not the problem. Your standards aren't the problem. The problem is a culture that taught you to shrink, to settle, to accept crumbs and call it a feast. You deserve someone who shows up consistently, who communicates clearly, who respects your boundaries, who celebrates your success instead of feeling threatened by it. You deserve someone who makes you feel chosen, not tolerated. And until that person shows up, you deserve to choose yourself every single day. Sarah isn't waiting anymore. She's not waiting for permission to be happy. She's not waiting for validation that she's enough. She's not waiting for someone else to complete her. She's complete on her own. And if someone exceptional wants to join her life, they'll have to rise to meet her standards, not because she's difficult, but because she's done settling. If this story spoke to your soul, do 3 things for me. Like this video if you're done settling for less than you deserve. Subscribe to the Single Woman Diaries for more empowering stories every week. Share this with a friend who needs this reminder today. Drop a comment below and tell me, what standard are you no longer willing to compromise on? Remember, you're not difficult, you're deliberate, and that's your power. See you in the next story.